What's going on, my Century Unit? Is the Sentiment Hisso back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. By the time this video is out, October and Halloween is over. It's in our review mirrors, so I forgot to do this review in the month of October. I didn't get a chance to do it, so my apologies, but anyway, I'm still doing it. So last month marks the 25th anniversary of this show. I'm going to talk about it right now. That is WWF No Mercy 1999. So this show was at the Gund Arena. Right now it's called the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio on the 17th of October 1999. The attendance of the show was 18,742. No Mercy 99 drew about 327,000 pay-per-view buys. It's a bit down than the previous month's pay-per-view, that is Unforgiven, because Unforgiven 99 drew about 330,000 pay-per-view buys. This show drew about 327,000 pay-per-view buys. This buy rate for No Mercy is the lowest buy rate of the year for the company. The commentators for No Mercy 99, we got JR and The King. So this show is memorable for the ladder match between Edge and Christian taking on the Hardys in the Terry Invitational Tournament. I'll get to more of that later on. The housekeeping match between Jeff Jarrett and Chyna, and also the start of the 2-year rivalry between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H. And this is the first pay-per-view after Vince Russo left the company, because the last pay-per-view for Vince Russo in the WWF was Unforgiven 99. After the show, I think it was a couple of weeks later, he left the company. You know, when the company went touring around the UK, he signed with WCW, and the rest is history. So they didn't recover after this, you know. I don't want to get more into it, but they had what's it called, Chris Kreschke, you know, and then I found Stephanie McMahon was the writer, you know. I don't think it did drop. They did okay without Russo, but it's just what it is, man. You know, Russo said in interviews that, you know, he was overworked, overappreciated, blah blah blah. I don't want to get into that, so that was it. And also, it's a fun fact, this is the second ever No Mercy show. The first No Mercy show they did was in the same year. It was in May of 99. That was in the UK in Manchester. That was 2 weeks before, you know, Over the Edge. That was the show when Owen Hart passed, you know, that death, when he passed away, you know, dropped to his death. That was the first ever No Mercy show they ever did. So, but this is the first American No Mercy show. I think the difference between that No Mercy show in May and this No Mercy show in October. This No Mercy show in October is a pay-per-view, and the UK version of No Mercy in May was, you could call it a house show. You know, it's just chalk and cheese. So anyway, No Mercy became, you could tell it became WWF's October show. You know, that will continue onto the WWE banner throughout the 2000s. In the Ruthless Aggression era, that became, you know, the SmackDown exclusive show. They will continue to do the show until 2008. You know, that was during the first brand split, and then they stopped doing it. They brought it back in the second brand split. One was a SmackDown exclusive show, and the other was a Raw exclusive show, and they got rid of that. And yeah, they brought it back for a NXT pay-per-view, you know, in our current timeline, and that was it. So anyway, so the first match to kick off No Mercy 1999, we got the Godfather taking on Mideon with Viscera in his corner. No build to this, you know. This is revolved around, you know, Mideon. You know, you had Godfather offering Mideon hose, and Mideon want barn animals. What the hell? But anyway, so they had the footage. You know, they do this the show footage on SmackDown. You know, you had the Godfather beat Midian on SmackDown. I think it was a few days before this pay per view. He had Viscera attacked him in the process. So yeah, the Godfather came out doing his shtick. You know, riding on the whole train. You could tell he was getting over at the time with his gimmick. You know, the match itself, is it a great match? No. Is it a terrible match? Not really. This match belonged not just this show. It's not really a pay-per-view match. This is a straight to TV, a TV wrestling match. Not probably on Raw and SmackDown. This should be on Heat. Why it's kicking off this pay-per-view beats me, but I'm trying to keep it short and simple. In the end, Godfather hit the whole train onto Midian and the roll-up for the win. And that was it. You know, before that, you know, you had the Viscera, you know, grab it. I think he grabbed one of the Godfather's hose by the arm. I think it's one with blonde hair and the pink dress or the pink tank top. So anyway, yeah, it was basically no build at the time. You know, they were not doing anything at the time. This match is perfectly designed to get the Godfather over because of his gimmick. You know, Midian and Viscera like teaming up because at this moment in time, you can tell the Ministry of Darkness is gone because Undertaker at the time was doing his own thing. Then he got injured. The Acolytes was doing his own thing. So you had Midian and Viscera just as a tag team. So I think that would they end up breaking up, and then Midian became Naked Midian in the year 2000, and he was gone. So yeah, it was really not. Yeah, it was basically it's just a random match for no reason. So yeah, it was really not a good way to kick off the pay-per-view. Anyway, so the next match, this is for the WWF Women's Championship. Ivory defending the belt against the Fabulous Moolah. Real name is Lillian Ellison. That's the real name of Fabulous Moolah, by the way, if you live under a rock, with Mae Young in her corner. This is the worst match of the night. Compare all the age at the time. Moolah, Lillian Allison. She was about 80. She was 76 years of age. Ivory was about 38. Wow. 18 years? Nope, 28 years? Something like that, 28 years, man. One more of the match, you had Ivory did like a crappy looking suicide dive onto Moolah, but she nearly dropped on her own head. May didn't really help this match, She took most of the bumps than Moolah. Despite the Fabulous Moolah, her past, I don't want to get into that. So, in the end, Moolah rolled up Ivory for the win. Ivory ended up winning the belt back. It's not like, because I've heard rumors like the Fabulous Moolah had histories of burying people. I think the most recently buried Wendy Richter in 1985. I don't want to get into that. Go watch Dark Side of the Ring for more information. I don't want to talk about it in this video, but to this day, Moolah is the oldest champion in the company's history to win the championship at the age of 76. Anyway, it was basically their design to get to appeal to like the new generation, because Moolah and Mae Young, they kind of wrestled in the 50s and the 60s. Mae Young, sometimes with Mae Young's shtick, that's a bit hit or miss. She ended up kissing and hitting the man with the Bronco Buster. I don't want to get into that. Some of the Mae Young stuff is a bit disgusting or funny. But anyway, Moolah winning the belt was, it was just like her last moment in the sun. And then, like I said, dropped the belt back to Ivory. Ivory, I'm going to say about Ivory in this, Ivory's jacked. You can tell, like, she's, she don't do it anymore. Like, she ended up, like, covering herself up. She had abs. She was ripped and muscular. She knows how to look after her body, and then and then she ended up doing the Right to Censor group. She was wearing like a shirt and a tie and a bow tie. But anyway, so yeah, who come up with the whole idea to do this match beats me. But women's wrestling improved in the last 25 years, but this is like not the business at the time. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is just a normal tag team match. This is the only tag team match on this show. We got the New Age Outlaws taking on the Hollies, Crash and Hardcore Holly. The tag team the tag team champions. My apologies. The tag team champions at the time were the Rock and Sock Connection. Unfortunately, they're not putting the belts on the line. They're competing in one-on-one matches. We'll get to more of their matches later on. The Hollies costing the Outlaws the tag team titles on SmackDown against the Rock and Sock Connection. So this is leading up to this. The match itself was good. It was good back and forth. It was a bit short, but the ending, it's about 10 minutes long. But the ending was a bit confusing. Like, Billy Gunn. Let's talk about Billy Gunn. The last 1999 WWF pay-per-view I reviewed on this channel was SummerSlam '99. He went on to win the '99 King of the Ring tournament, and he fought against The Rock at SummerSlam. Rock did the whole infamous God promo. He did, he had the fat chick in their match at SummerSlam '99. Ever since that Billy Gunn push was gone, it was derailed. You had Billy Gunn once again reunite with Road Dogg to reform the New Age Outlaws. So, yeah, it's really sad for Billy Gunn. You thought '99 was his big year. First before he's going to be winning the IC title. Unfortunately, they did the switcheroo. Then he won the King of the Ring. Unfortunately, they dropped the ball on it. Feud with The Rock. He's at the moment time the big rising star. That didn't work out, so yeah, it's kind of weird. So anyway, so back to this match. In the end, Billy Gunn hit the Famouser onto Crash onto the chair. That led to a disqualification. So the Hollies won this match. Not say it was a bad match. It was a good match. Not an instant classic, but like a freestyle match. Better than the first two matches on the show. But this is designed to get the Hollies over as a tag team because they were the new tag team that just formed. Road Dogg and Billy Gunn have been tagging for 2 years now, so it's just what it is. So let's move. I think at the time, both Bob and Crash Holly ended up they're kind of arguing because they are kayfabe cousins. So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is a good housekeeping match for the Intercontinental Championship. So we got Jeff Jarrett with Miss Kitty, aka the Cat, in the corner of Double J defending the belt against Chyna. This is the rematch from Unforgiven. Chyna beat Jeff Jarrett at Unforgiven. Unfortunately, that was overturned by the scab referee Tom Pritchard. And then Pritchard, as a dumbass, cost Jeff Jarrett a rematch against Chyna. This is a non-title match. Chyna beat Jeff Jarrett to get another shot at the Intercontinental Championship. So, for months, really for the build-up to this, the video package, you had Jarrett just attacking women, like, was it Jacqueline, and I think Fabulous Moolah or Mae Young, locking the women with the figure four leg lock, hitting Chyna with objects, I think she kind of pushed Chyna. I think it was a laundry box and threw her off the ramp of outside of the car park or something like that. I can't remember, but Jarrett's character is he's against the women. He don't like the women. He doesn't really look like the women to be in the ring. I think this match is the sign for Jarrett. He sees the women in wrestling like they're not they had no business to be in the ring. They should do housekeeping stuff like cooking and cleaning. So I'll get more of Jeff Jarrett. By the way, this is Jeff Jarrett's final pay-per-view match of his second run of the company. I'll get to more of that in the end. So the match between Jarrett and China was good. The housekeeping match, it is goofy, but they made it most of what it is. I kind of like it, you know. It was they made it worked, you know. There was like food and mops and sinks, you know, and I think it was a salami and a fish. It's just like so goofy, but they made it work, you know. Um, Jarrett thought he won this match. You know, he hit China with the Intercontinental belt. He thought he won it. He retained the belt, and then you got Teddy Long, holla 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 player, overruled this decision because the Intercontinental belt is not a household object, so the match still continue. You know, China throw powder in the face of Jeff Jarrett. There was like I think it was you know, there was a bowl of like eggs and flour. I think China kind of poured it over the head of Miss Kitty. You know, it is goofy, but they made it most of what it is. So in the end, what do you think? Yeah, Jarrett trying to lock in the figure four leg lock onto Teddy Long because he overturns the decision. China hit Jarrett with the guitar to pin him and become the first and only women to win the Intercontinental Champion ship. Sorry, I'm tongue twisting moment, man. But anyway, yeah, China became I'm gonna say it again. China is the first and only woman to become the Intercontinental Champion. Anyway, so that was Jarrett's last pay-per-view match of the company. Fun fact, not fun fact. Actually, it's legend that Jarrett's contract with the company was expired the day before the pay-per-view. He was held in the company up to ransom because at the time the company was going public. You know, I think like in Jarrett's interviews, you know, he said like he was overpaid. There's rumors like him and Vince had to bust up, but they kind of he basically signed. It's funny, he signed with WCW. I think it was 2 weeks before his match with China on this show. And WWF trying to match the offer, but unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. So yeah, and everyone knows the story. You know, Jeff Jarrett and Vince Russo are best friends. You know, they've worked together in WWF, in WCW, and then years later in TNA. So yeah, I don't want to get more in details of it. You know, it's if you want more information, go watch Jeff Jarrett's podcast. You know, but yeah, Jarrett says he got a paycheck by Vince, and they hug it out. It's funny that 2 years later, on the final Nitro, Vince kind of publicly fired Jeff Jarrett. You can tell Vince was a bit pissed off. I don't want to get in detail of it, Yeah, you won't see Jeff Jarrett again with the company for 19 years. Not 19 years, about technically 21 years. The next time we see Jeff Jarrett he got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2018. And he had that mini feud with Elias, Yeah, that's the reason why Jarrett left. I think he left on very bad terms. And also, like, Jarrett, at the time, don't like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because at the time, Deborah was the manager of Jeff Jarrett, And also, he was dating with Austin at the time and soon to marry Austin. And also, because Austin worked with his dad's promotion in Memphis. And also, Austin cut that Austin 316 promo at King of the Ring of 1996, That is blasphemy from the Bible. That was part of Jeff Jarrett's promo when he came back to the company in 1997. It's just what it is, man. I don't want to get into it, but I think it's like if Jarrett was in the company, still in the company. Let me see, he did renew his contract. Would he be still in the company? No, I don't know. He'd probably get lost in the shuffle, but I don't see him being like WWF champion. I think he'll be stuck in mid card. I don't know, man. I think he did a good job. putting over China because China. I think they struck gold because China, um, because China's character at this moment in time is he's represent the woman to fight Jeff Jarrett's doing the massages gimmick, and on the other hand, he's like still aligned herself with Triple H, But I think they did. I think putting the belt on China was a good idea because China has a good look. She's in good shape, like because she's an Amazon. She's the ninth wonder of the world. She's like it's like she's Xena. I call it Xena and Wonder Woman all together. She looks like her body. She's got that superhero body physique. I think they struck gold. I think China went on to win. I think she won the Intercontinental title 3 times. And then 3 times. And she ended up winning the women's title. That was her last championship in her only run in the company. So yeah, I feel like they did well. I think Jeff Jarrett did his bit to put over China. And after that, Miss Kitty ended up becoming China's sidekick. She ended up like dyeing her hair like dark, raven hair. It's kind of goofy seeing like Miss Kitty being China's sidekick. It's a bit cartoonish, but it's just what it is. So yeah, it was a fun match. I think it's probably the third best match of the night. The other two, I'll get to more of that later on. Anyway, so the next match, we got The Rock taking on the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. This was after Unforgiven 99 when Bulldog came back, won the Hardcore title, then he was in the 6-pack challenge. His goal was to become WWF champion. Recently he kind of threw like a trash can in the head. He kind of threw the trash can onto the head of Stephanie McMahon, giving her kayfabe amnesia. So anyway, Bulldog turned heel, cost The Rock the WWF Championship against Triple H. I think it was the championship match, or I think it was a bull rope match on SmackDown, and then Rock did pay the favor, cost Bulldog the WWF Championship against Triple H. The Rock, did he was doing the 3 counts like 1, 2. It doesn't matter if The Rock counts the 3. So the most memorable moment in this rivalry has to be, The Rock kind of rock bomb Bulldog onto, I think it was a tray full of dog shit, That's like, wow. But anyway, so Bulldog came out just wearing his trunks. It's funny, like in the 6-pack challenge, he's wearing his tights. He's no longer wearing the trunks and the tights with the Union Jack flag or the colors of the Union Jack flag. He's just wearing jeans. It's funny that, recently I just reviewed Fall Brawl 1998, his last match in WCW was the tag team match against the Dancing Fools. That was the famous match of Bulldog getting his back broken or injured onto the Ultimate Warrior or the decoy of the Ultimate Warrior's trapdoor for the main event at War Games at Fall Brawl in the main event. So he was gone, injured his back. He was he went to the hospitalized. That's the word, hospitalized. He came back. Unfortunately, he's addicted to painkillers and morphine. He came back in his credible shape. The previous year, he was kind of like puffy. You could say he's kind of fat. But I think his mind wasn't there because this show was a few months after Owen passed away. So I think it's affected him mentally because he lost 2 important person in his life. He lost his sister in 1997 due to cancer, and then 2 years later, Owen over the edge. So his mind's not with it. So anyway, the match between The Rock and the Bulldog, it was good. It wasn't 4-star classic. It was predictable that The Rock's going over, but yeah, I think The Rock kind of carried Bulldog to a passable match. It starts out with a brawl. It got a bit boring with Bulldog doing chin holds. But anyway, I think there was one multiple botch I think it was a noticeable botch. One more of the match. I think The Rock. I think it was going. It looks like Rock's trying to hit Bulldog with the I think it was a Samoan drop, but it kind of turned into a back body drop. I think it didn't look good, but they kind of recovered. So Bulldog hit the running power slam onto The Rock. The Rock's foot was on the ropes. Trying to do it again. In the end, Rock hit the rock bottom and the people's elbow for the win. It is predictable, but I hate to say, I think The Rock kind of killed the Bulldog's push. Depending if the Bulldog really got a push, but I feel sorry. I think you thought Bulldog will get his last chance to become WWF champion. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Yeah, this was the beginning of the end of Bulldog's time in his run of the company. I think his third run of the company was forgettable. His first run of the company was in the tag team with the Dynamite Kid. Second run, you could say he was in the singles run. Being Brett in his home country at the old Wembley at SummerSlam 1992. Then you could say third run. He kind of came back in 1994. Part of teaming up with Lex Luger, the Allied Powers, and then part of Camp Cornette. Then they part of the Hart Foundation in 1997. Then he left after the Montreal Screwjob, and now his fourth run, it was forgettable. He was Hardcore Champion, feud with The Rock. He ended up becoming European Champion the following year. That was forgettable, and he ended up part of the Main Street Posse. It's a really shame for Bulldog, but you could tell he was way past his best. In this match, Bulldog is 10 years older than The Rock. You thought the veteran is could carry the new guy to a passable match, but it's the other way around. It's the young guy carried the veteran to a passable match. It's just what it is. You could tell. I don't think the Rock's matches against Billy Gunn and Bulldog, they're not bad matches. They are forgettable, but I don't call them bad matches. I give them, they're kind of 3-star matches, but not on the same standard of the Rock's matches before and probably afters. They're kind of 4-star caliber. This is more like a 3.5-star caliber match. I probably rate it, but it's just what it is. So next match. This is technically the match of the night. We got a ladders match. This is the finals of the Terry Invitational Tournament. The tit. The tit man. So anyway, we got Edge and Christian taking on the New Brood, the Hardys. This is for $100,000 and the manageable service of Terry Reynolds. So the Hardys and Edge and Christian have been feuding for months now. They did this 5-match series. This is the tiebreaker. Edge and Christian was part of the Brood with Gangrel. Then they were part of the Ministry of Darkness. Then they broke away from the Brood, and now the Hardys are now part of the New Brood. So I don't think it worked in my opinion. Matt looks gothic, with the dark hair and black t-shirts. He was in good shape, but I don't think the Hardys as heels just never going to work. It's just what it is. So anyway, before that, you had Terry was climbing the ladder and Lawler trying to look below, trying to look underneath Terry's skirt. The Terry Invitational Tournament, the tit. To be fair, I think Terry is beautiful at the time. She had beautiful blonde hair, blue eyes, good tits. It's just good decision. So anyway, the match was really good. I don't want to talk about it too much. There's a lot to cover. I advise you watch this on the network. It's a really good match. Good chemistry between both guys. I feel like one more of the match. Jeff was on the. Edge was on the ladder. Jeff Hardy drop kicked Edge off the ladder. some good spots. There's some good spots. Jeff did hitting the Swanton Bomb. It wasn't really called at the time. I think it was onto Edge or Christian. There's one spot. I don't. It's the same spot that Joey Mercury got his nose broken. Jeff did like before that. Jeff did like the he kind of hurdle off the tallest ladder onto the other ladder. I can't remember. And they did like a seesaw spot onto both on Matt and Christian. They took like the hit off the ladder, like I said, same spot then. A couple of years later in 2006 when Joey Mercury broke his face, But besides that, there was some good ladder spots, Gangrel didn't interfere. In the end, Jeff Hardy grabbed the brief. It wasn't a briefcase. It was really a sack of money. He grabbed the sack to win this match. They win the Terry Invitational Tournament, and Terry Reynolds. Yeah, they won the manageable surface of Terry. So anyway, so that was basically the end of the rivalry between. For now, yeah, I think it was a good one. I think it was a good way. I think this match really set both Edge and Christian and the Hardys for life. They've been in the company for 1 year. I think they just don't really. They had good matches, but they didn't really have matches to stand out. Like, wow, they could be like a big thing in the foreseeable future. And reality, they're gonna have more standable matches in the year 2000. In the Triangle Ladder match, WrestleMania 16, and the TLC matches at SummerSlam 2000 and WrestleMania 17. They really set the bar of ladder matches because back then, ladder matches were kind of like a new concept, and they made it work. I think, and afterwards, Edge and Christian got like a standing applause. It was really good. I don't think they got match of the year. That should be like a match of the year candidate. Like they've been, they kind of like put up a really good match. They took some good bumps off the ladder. They used the ladders as weapons. Yeah, there was a sandwich spot, I feel like before that, I forgot to mention one more of the match. Matt hit like I think it was a moonsault off the top rope. And he took the ladder more than Christian or Edge. That was sick. But besides that, man, that was really good. Yeah, Edge, not Edge, Christian. The Hardys end up with the manageable surface of Terry Reynolds until the start of the next year, and they end up, you had Terry turn on the Hardys. I think end up part of the Radicals. I think at this moment in time, maybe they outgrow Terry, because it's funny, like they jump back and forth with managers like Michael P.S. Hayes, Gangrel, and now Terry Reynolds. Yeah, they had Lita the following year in the year 2000, but it's just, I think, this is the first of many matches that the Hardys and Edge and Christian will get, Yeah, I advise you watching this match. It was awesome. It was really good. Let's move on to, before we get to the next match, there was a segment after that revolving around The Rock. You had The Rock came out, says he will face the winner of the Triple H Stone Cold Steve Austin match, and then he got attacked by Triple H by the sledgehammer, and it set up the main event when The Rock interfered. I'll get to more of that later on. And then we got the next match. So this is a bit of a power cleanser, I call it. We got Mankind taking on Foul Phoenix. So wow, Rock and Mankind and The Rock were a tag team. They won the WWF Tag Team titles 3 times. They did this on This Is Your Life segment. With The Rock. And then this is a segment on Heat. You had Mankind was in the bathroom. You thought like The Rock is taking the shit. You kind of give The Rock his autobiography, and you see The Rock on his phone, and The Rock says The Rock is entertaining, the most entertaining guy, whether it's in wrestling or in movies. he said like, send me an advance copy to the Great One, and he said like, turn this some bitch sideways. And he almost said stick up your candy ass, but it wasn't The Rock. Got Mick Foley's book. It was actually Val Venus. And the build up to this is revolve around a sock. He had The Rock. Mankind give The Rock a custom made rock sock. Mr. Rocco. What the hell? So you had Val Venus. Kind of stole the sock, the rock sock. He kind of placed it under this. He kind of placed it down there. He kind of put it in his dick. At the time he was doing the porn gimmick. It's just like on his schlong, man. It's just like it's what it is, man. I don't want to get any more in details of it. So the match between Mankind and Val Venus, this match sucked. I got the second worst match of the night. The worst match of the night has to be the women's title match from earlier. It starts out like a brawl, fighting outside the ring. You had Val Venus hit a back body drop onto Mick Foley onto the chair. I think he did I think he did it the same thing inside of the ring. I can't remember what move, but it was really boring, to be honest. The ending did not help. You had Mick Foley, Mankind got Mr. Socko and Mr. Rocco. That's why I call it the Rock Sock. The ending was not so good. You had Mankind locking the mandible claw. You had Val Venus lock Mankind with the testicle claw. They both passed out, and you had basically Val Venus pin Mick Foley or Mankind. Same character, but he pins Mankind for the win. And afterwards, he was going to get his heat back, trying to lock in the mandible claw again with Mr. Socko, but instead he got out of the ring, and that was it. Wow, it's funny, like the Rock and Sock connection. Rock and Mankind were the WWF Tag Team Champions at the time. They put them in these matches. I think the Rock and Bulldog match was a bit better than this match. At least, it was kind of a bit fast-paced, even though it was a shorter match. But this was boring. This lasted about 9 minutes, man. Holy crap. I wish they cut this match a bit in half and give it more to the Rock and Bulldog match. That lasted about 6 minutes. That's my opinion. But, yeah. I don't think there's any chemistry between Mankind and Val Venus. And they're doing this experiment of turning Val Venus heel. I don't think that worked at the time. He ended up turning heel the following year. He ended up ditching the porn star gimmick. He ended up being part of Riot Censored. He ended up cutting his hair, feuded with Rikishi. Because at the time, he got the whole the Parents Feud Council. Trying to sue the WWF, trying to make sure boycott the WWF because at the time, the whole Attitude Era content they were doing was over the top. I don't want to get into that. That lead up to the formation of the Right to Censor group. You had like Val Venus, no longer the porn star, the Godfather, no longer a pimp. The end of DX. I don't want to get into that. So it's just what it is. So I think. Yeah, the point I'm trying to make, I think Val's heel turn in 2000 is way better than his attempt of heel turn of 1999. Moving on to the next match. The next match, we got a 4 corners match. Yeah, 4 corners elimination match. X-Pac and Kane taking on Bradshaw and Farouk of the Acolytes. So, the story going into this, X-Pac wants to be part of the land of the giants, Kane to want him to be, trying to protect X-Pac, something like that. This is the last pay-per-view match as a tag team before X-Pac turn on Kane. This pay-per-view before the formation of DX 2000. I don't want to get into that, Big mistake. I think DX has run its course. That's my opinion. But anyway, the match itself, it was fine. it told a good story of X-Pac wants to be part of the Land of the Giants, you know, overcome big dudes, you know, even though Sean Waltman is, I think his height, you know, he's about above, he's about like 5'11", 6 foot, you know. Again, taking up, like, facing his opponents about 5, 6, 7 inches taller than him, you know, yeah, they're making X-Pac more of an underdog, and it kind of was working, you know. Yeah, Farouk and Bradshaw kind of face one-on-one each together. Even though this match is it's not a tag team match, it's a four corners elimination match. Seeing them facing one-on-one briefly. Shame they never got that, you know, years later when Bradshaw became JBL. Yeah, you can tell Bradshaw, or Farouk is kind of retired, you know. I think Farouk is way older than Bradshaw. I think he's like a decade older than Bradshaw. Anyway, so I think it was an okay match. It was pretty confusing, but they told a good story of X-Pac, you know. It was the match was fine. It belonged on SmackDown or Raw. I don't feel like it's a good quality pay-per-view match, but they didn't shit the bed, but it kind of didn't outstay its welcome. But anyways, in the end, you had Kane choke slamming Bradshaw. He's eliminated, and then X-Pac hit the I think it was an Izagiri kick off the top rope onto Kane to eliminate him. The final two in this match was Farouk and X-Pac, you know. Yeah, you had Farouk was going for like a move off the top rope. X-Pac counted with the X Factor for the win. So yeah, it was good. It was a deal. I think, like, it's hard to really say. This match, I think I give it. It's hard to really say. I think it was a good match. It was a fine match. Told a good story, and it accomplished like the boxes a tick on the box. Especially, it was a massive tick on the box. It got X-Pac over. You know, he's overcome the Giants. He's, you know, on the equal playing field, and they did that. Anyway, let's move on to the main event. So the main event is a no-holds-barred match for the WWF Championship. Triple H defending the belt against Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is Austin's first championship match since SummerSlam '99. This was after Triple H ran off Austin with the knee injury. He came back at Unforgiven '99 as the special guest referee for the six-pack challenge. Triple H won that match. So, how we get there? So, this is revolving around a rattlesnake, you know. I feel like, you know, Triple H, you know, I think you're like, this revolves around, like, Triple H was in this room after, I think it was like beat down, there was a fight, you know. Triple H was trapped in the room with a cobra, and then the following SmackDown, his face is so deformed, he's got like a black eye. You know, it's basically selling the effects of the snake bit him. And then afterwards, you know, you had Triple H was on a stretcher, foaming with the mouth, China was getting upset. And then, suddenly, you had this segment, you know, it was a ruse, you thought like he's retiring, he's going to give Austin the belt. Suddenly, it was a psych, it was a ruse, you know, Triple H removed the makeup, beat down Austin to get Triple H more heat. Anyway, you thought this is a normal one-on-one match, but unfortunately, a segment on Heat, you know, you had a segment between him and Vince, you know, Vince performed Triple H. This is a no-holds-barred match, anything goes. So, before the start of this match, Triple H got like the sledgehammer. Vince snatched the sledgehammer off the hands of Triple H, and then Triple H decked Vince. You know, that's the last time we see him. It set up the no DQ match at Armageddon in December. The match itself, you know, I think this is the second best match of the night. The match of the night has to be the ladder match from earlier. It was a really brawl. That was what it is. This is Austin's final match. I'll get to more of that later on. But they were fighting in the crowd. It was a bit overbooked, but that was at the time. There was a referee bump. That was Mike Chioda. With it, you had Austin hit Triple H with the stunner, no referee. Triple H hit the pedigree onto Austin. out comes Earl Hebner. He did the 3 count. They did the typical pushing match, shoving match. Really, Triple H has a lot of feuds. Was it Rock, Austin, Mankind, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, Batista. You have to put Earl Hebner on that list because they go through a lot of shit throughout the late '90s, going into the early 2000s. On Raw, when Triple H was the world champion. It's kind of funny, seeing Triple H and Hebner doing the shoving match is kind of funny. That was like a running gag at the time. Anyway, so yeah, it was a really good match. Triple H going for the leg. Austin hitting Triple H with the chair. I think he was also going for the legs. It's basically payback what Triple H did to him at SummerSlam. Trying to keep it short and simple, folks. It's not their cup of tea. Yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea because it was the norm at the time. It was the Attitude Era. Run-ins, interference. That was it. In the end, out comes The Rock. He's bandaged up after he got tapped by Triple H with the same sledgehammer. You thought he was gonna hit Triple H with the sledgehammer, but no, he accidentally hit Austin with it. Triple H hit Rock with the pedigree, pins Austin after Rock hit Austin in the ribs with the sledgehammer to win this match and retain the championship. I think it was predictable that Triple H is gonna retain. It's just what it is, man. Triple H just won the belt at Unforgiven. It's funny. It's funny. Triple H won the title on top of his first run. He won the belt the Raw after SummerSlam. And then he dropped the belt in September on SmackDown against Vince. And then he ended up winning the belt back at Unforgiven. So yeah, I think retaining the belt was the right call. And then afterwards you had Triple H and Austin brawl. And then you had China helping Triple H escape from the limo. Very weird because China was doing this storyline with Jeff Jarrett, and now he's aligned herself with Triple H, still aligning himself with Triple H. Because at the time they were boyfriend, girlfriend at the time. This is before the whole situation with Stephanie McMahon. Don't want to get into that. So yeah, that was just what it is. So yeah, this was it was supposed to be set up a triple threat match for the championship at Survivor Series. Triple H, Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But like I said, this is Austin's basically final pay-per-view match of the 90s. Because he was written off the following month at Survivor Series to get neck surgery, and next time Triple H and Stone Cold have a one-on-one match again will be Survivor Series of the following year. So out of the 3 matches between Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin, if I'm ranking it, I think the 3 Stages of Hell match, that's number 1. This match is the 2nd place, and that match, the Survivor Series, as the 3rd place. That was kind of ridiculous, and Austin driving I think it was a crane, and dumping Triple H, who's in the car, when he's dumping the car with Triple H inside of it. That was a bit goofy and stupid, but that was technically the Empire Strikes Back. It's funny, the final one-on-one interaction was at the 2002 Royal Rumble. Shame they didn't have that final battle because it was supposed to happen at in 2001. At the time, they were part of the 2-man power trip, but Triple H got hurt. Austin's part of the alliance, and that was it. So yeah, Triple H ending the show as the WWF champion. Two pay-per-views in the row was, it was, at the time was disappointing. My overall rating of No Mercy 1999 is a 7 out of 10. A decent show. The 3 matches stands out for me is the housekeeping match when China wins the Intercontinental Championship, the ladder match, and the main event. The undercard was fine, belong on TV but not on pay-per-view. The 2 matches I'm going to put in the bad is the women's title match between Ivory and Moolah, and Foul Venus versus Mankind. The OK is the OK. The opener, Mideon versus the Godfather. The 4 corners elimination match between, Kane, X-Pac, and the Acolytes was fine. The Hollies versus the Outlaws, that was kind of like 3 stars. I put it also in the good. I put the Rock and Bulldog match in the good, but only just, it's back and forth of putting it in the okay or the good, but I think it was kind of like passable for what it is. But yeah, No Mercy 99. Like I said, it was a fun show, but not like, oh my god, I need to watch that show again. But it was, enjoyable to watch.